Welcome, Neo Positivity. I am so excited to talk to you today. How's it going?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And life is amazing right now. I'm just getting over a little bit of being sick, not COVID or flu or anything, but still amazing. Still amazing. Plenty of reasons to smile.
That's for sure. All right, first things first. Is your real name Neo Positivity?
No, my real name is Nehemiah Davila. But when
Nehemiah
I was a
Davila.
police
Wow.
officer, I kept doing Neo from the Matrix type activities. And of course, the name just picked up from there. And Neo positivity, that came with the law of attraction. As soon as I
Yeah.
got into the law of attraction, everybody always saw I was a naturally positive person anyway. And now I had the words to back it up, the lifestyle to back it up. So it's actually the name of the philosophy that became a stage name. So
Got
yeah,
it. I love that. I love that. And I love your t-shirt, Thoughts Become Things. And I'm
yes.
sure you can go to neopositivity.com and get one for yourself, right?
Yes, I love the shirt specifically because it tells me where I'm at in the world.
Yeah.
I know what kind of town I'm in, gauged off of how many people say, I love your shirt. If I'm in New Jersey, none. If I'm in Florida, you might get 3 or 4 a day. In California, 7 to 12 people
Oh,
just come.
easily.
So it helps me gauge what kind of atmosphere I'm in by how many people are like, oh, I like that shirt. And even if they don't say anything, you catch them looking. Plus,
Oh, for sure.
I love being a walking billboard for this. If you're going to be a billboard for something, be it for this.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And you're right, because I'm in the DC metro area. DC, New Jersey, New York. They're all uptight cities.
Yes, that's accurate. It's funny. One of my friends was like, she's from Jersey, born and raised, still lives there. And she doesn't really like how I portray Jersey to be a really negative place. And I'm like, she didn't live the Jersey life. She lived the privileged lifestyle. She never really got rejected or denied or anything. So to me, she didn't live the Jersey life. You got to get pulled over a couple times and treated like dirt, by the government or the water company or just cut off. You got to, there's a couple of things you got to go through to make you really see what Jersey is. But that's why I do what I do. I want to make it better.
Right. Well, let's go back to Jersey and your beginnings, because I want to hear about your story, because you've got quite a remarkable story. So walk me through it.
Well, I was born and raised in Camden, New Jersey. It's one of the most dangerous cities in America. When I was a cop, it was the most dangerous city in America 6 out of the 8 years that I was there. But I didn't spend all of my time there. My dad, who was a cop, when he made sergeant, he got us out of the hood and made sure that we, tried to keep us away from it as much as he could. Long story short, I became a cop after the NFL didn't work out. And like I said, 8 years into being a police officer, my old partner, who was a retired CIA agent, told me about this movie that they make all of their academy recruits watch in the CIA. And of course, I'm intrigued. I want to know what's going on. I'm expecting like a SWAT team shoot 'em up type movie. And it was a movie called The Secret, which I'm pretty sure that you and everyone who's listening is familiar with. And I was immediately hooked. I was hooked. It put together so many different, it's like I had 10 puzzles in my life and each of them were missing 2 pieces. And it took those 10 puzzles and it made them into 4 perfect ones. It filled in the gaps and made everything so abundantly clear as to why I moved the way I did growing up, why I used to stare off, why I used to envision or visualize. So yeah, that was in March of 2008. On November 28th, 2008 was my last day at work because I
Wow.
immediately went for retirement. And then right after that, I went for custody of my kids. And then even though I wasn't I wasn't really into sports anymore because of my injuries, I still wanted the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. So started messaging them and next thing you know, they won the Super Bowl and my pilot's license, I moved to Florida. It's just been a barrage of me pointing at things and using my techniques to get them. It's actually been a really amazing journey. 14 years now, I've been retired. And all 14 years, not only have I been plucking from the universe exactly what I want, but I've been sharing every single tip and hint and secret that I've stumbled upon or come up with along the way, because you can't just win by yourself. You need the people around you winning. If I go to dinner with my friends, I'm always paying for everybody. Always paying for everybody. And it feels good for me to do that. But it would feel better that if, I were to give them some information to put them in a position to pay for everybody. So it's not about the money. It's about having you in the mindset of abundance throughout the day, as opposed to scarcity, which is where most people are at.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my whole thing. Share, share, share.
Yes. And we're going to come back to the scarcity versus abundance, but you really glossed over your NFL aspirations. So talk about your football life, because I find that, as you know, before we start talking, I'm a professional athlete. I love hearing other people's stories. I work with elite athletes right now, and I love to hear about that. And so go ahead, start that, because I'm going to have a follow-up question in a second.
Natural athlete. My whole life, I've always been, I pick up a ball and they want me to throw it somewhere, and I first try. I'm not really good at baseball and golf for some reason, but football and karate and soccer, anything involving accuracy, archery, shooting, I've always been good at. Started varsity, I think my freshman year in high school, played varsity all 4 years. Was supposed to go to the NFL. Well, in my mind, I was supposed to go to the NFL, but me and college didn't get along. My dad said, if you're not going to go to college while you're training for the NFL, at least join a police academy. That way you get some benefits, making more money than the average person. And he was a sergeant, in Kansas City Police Department himself. And I had a bunch of cousins that were cops, and my sister was a dispatcher. So we were a cop family. Being a cop was always my backup plan. And so that's exactly what happened. I took the police test, scored very high, and I got on, while I was still training to play for play for any team. But I became a free agent in the NFL, which we were just talking before. I'm still listed as a free agent, although I got too many injuries to go back. Plus, I'm 41 years old. In my mind, I think I could do it, but my body says something else. So yeah, never made it to play and step foot on an NFL football team, but the Eagles are always my favorite squad. Growing up in New Jersey, Philadelphia Eagles, and I ended up taking them to a Super Bowl, and I'm very happy and proud about that. I can hold my head as far as that goes, because they had no chance, and even when they had a chance and it was looking good, they lost their starting quarterback in the first round of the playoffs, which means the season would have been over for anyone else. It was only the law of attraction, that could pull them through this. And though most of them might have touched on it or heard something about it, it wasn't until I got into their locker room and started filling heads up with this type of information that made all that happen. In my opinion, I'm just really happy about that.
It's amazing. No, because I work with elite athletes as well. And not only is it rewarding to see people transform in front of your eyes, but when you know what we know, you just want everybody else to embrace it.
That's it. It's like, come on, get on this page. And so many people are pointing at different things in their lives. Not to get preachy or talk about religion or whatever, but like Carson Wentz was the quarterback at the time, the one that got hurt, and he's real big on Jesus this, Jesus that. And when something bad happens, it's just like, oh, well, Jesus meant for that to happen. I was supposed to not, get the Super Bowl win. I was supposed to not. And it's like, no, I'm going to take rings of my own future. Okay. And if you give up on the Eagles because you just got hurt, I'm not going to. And with Nick Foles, a backup quarterback who, probably couldn't start anywhere else in the league, couldn't even start for any other team, won the Super Bowl. And it was an amazing thing. Super Bowl MVP. Beautiful, beautiful thing. And it all started from me getting upset at the Eagles. Des Bryant scored a touchdown on one of our cornerbacks, and I was just so mad because it was like his third one of the day. And I picked up my phone and I looked the guy up on Instagram and I said, listen, if you keep thinking about that, it's going to keep happening. I don't care if you have to go back to high school and relive that last interception, pick six touchdown you had. relive that over and over again, and that's what's going to happen. You know, and I was wearing the Thoughts Become Things shirt, and he never got back to me. He never got back to me, but that sparked me to start hitting up other players. And so that's what I would do, not just Eagles. Other players around the league that I liked, that I knew they were good people, you know, doing all the community service and all that type of work, I would hit them up because I knew they would gel with this type of information. And then people started hitting me back, and it just became a thing from there.
That's awesome. I love it. So let's talk about the scarcity and abundance. What is your one thing that you can tell people that makes them aware of the fact that they have a scarcity mentality? Because I think that for me, I think that most people aren't aware of it, right?
Tell them just tell them to make a plan. Say, what's your big goal? What's your big dream? And when they tell you, say, what's your plan to get there? And they're going to tell you all kind of ins and outs and avenues and all kind of limiting beliefs. Oh, yes. Well, I have to do this and I have to make that amount of money. And then I have to meet somebody in this realm and they can introduce me to this and da. And you start to see the scarcities there. You're like, couldn't you just get it overnight? And I'm not saying everything's going to happen overnight, but it's possible. So why are you entertaining all these ideas that are going to take a lot of hard work and chance, and this person's got to be at that right time? You don't know how it's going to happen anyway. We take all these guesses at how things are going to happen to us, and we're wrong most of the time. At the end of the day, if you can see your abundance, there it is. There is no, oh man, well, what if I don't? I go into meetings, like I'll give you an example. I go into meetings sometimes with a beggar mentality. And I want you to really let that soak in, because nobody wants to have a beggar mentality. And me, of all peoples, neo-positivity, I'm going into a meeting like, oh, well, if you give me funding for this, I could turn it into that, or whatever the situation. And right before the meeting, I'm like, whoa, scrap all of that. Scrap all of that. I'm going to this meeting on fuego. You called me here. You want me. That's a total different way to go into the meeting. One is a scarcity mindset. One is I'm abundant. They need me. They want me because of what I have to offer.
Right.
And so it could come at you from so many different levels. But at the end of the day, like it says on the shirt, scarcity and the scarcity mindset manifest the future of more scarcity mindset and feeling scarcity. So that's my big thing about that. I make sure that scarcity stays so far away from my equilibrium as far as I can, because I don't want to manifest more feelings of scarcity. I don't want to manifest the universe to make me feel scarcity, because in order for it to do that, it has to take something from me or keep something from me or make me feel scarcity, which I don't want.
Right. Because what you put out, you're going to get back tenfold. Yeah.
So don't put out scarcity, or else that's what you get.
You're just going to keep getting it back. And what you were talking about before, when people are giving excuses or whatever, and I say that with air quotes, a lot of times what they're doing is people just start making up stories.
Yes.
They make up stories about what they think is going to happen.
And true, it's based off of everything you've ever experienced, what your parents taught you and teachers, but it's up to you to change that narrative.
Yeah.
Where Camden was the most dangerous city in America when I was a cop there. I was born there. Nobody leaves Camden. All my cousins are still there, with the exception of a few. And because they've accepted the fact that that's where they're going to be. And I did not accept that. My dad did not accept that. He didn't want us back in the hood. He took us out of the hood, and then finances brought him back. And he took us out of the hood, and he got a divorce, and that brought him back. But guess what? He fought tooth and nail to get us out every chance he could. So for me to see him do that and accept what everybody else is accepting, I don't care. All my cousins I look up to. All of them I look up to, except for that mentality.
Right.
That this is all I'm ever going to be. I can't get out of this. You can get out of this. There's houses, there's apartments and houses one town over that cost the same that you're paying in the hood. You're just stuck there because of the narratives. You're never going to, that your teachers tell you. Back when I was younger, the teachers in Jersey, the teachers would tell you straight up, you ain't never going to amount to S-H-I-T. They will tell you that to your face, you know? So And that's the thing about Jersey. Jersey is a very specific place. It's receiving. I always say it's receiving negative waves from Philly and New York. It's catching like the vibe, and because we definitely got both of them in us. But yes, it's the negative narratives that you have to clear out that might have been placed on you as a child. Maybe it wasn't by your parents. Maybe it wasn't by your teacher. Maybe you saw a TV show that keyed in on the fact that people need to suffer to get what they want. Right. And that gets embedded in you, and you're manifesting a life where you need to suffer to live in that beautiful $400,000 house and drive that Lexus. You have no time to yourself, no time to your family, and you hate life even though you've manifested these luxurious things, or you don't got nothing. All that comes from these limiting beliefs and negative narratives that you've absorbed over the years. And just like you've absorbed them, you could wring out that sponge and get rid of them. But you got to wring out the sponge.
I love that analogy, wringing out the sponge. Yeah. So, okay, so you watched The Secret, and your friend who worked at the CIA, so he said is it all 8 CIA agents or just new recruits do they still do that today, or that was then, or that kind of blows my mind.
I don't know if they still do it today. It's the academy recruits, but I don't see why they would stop. That's really
interesting.
After that, I learned that if you look at all the NFL, NBA, the hockey leagues, NHL, all the professional teams do the same thing. Every year in training camp, they watch The Secret. Every year in training camp, they watch The Secret. Regardless of how many times you've been on that team, you're just going to watch it again. And when you look at those type of statistics, it makes you say, I want to try that movie. I want to look into that movie. And the movie is great. It's probably like an hour and 15 minutes long, but you don't have to watch more than the first 30 minutes because then they just start to say thoughts become things over and over and over again. I'd recommend you just go to my Instagram. I've been doing these reels lately. It's like 60 seconds of the best in law of attraction that I've come up with and learned. Over the past 14 years, I've interviewed over 1,000 people. Law of attraction enthusiasts that's working for. So they got money, their life is good, and I've picked up all their best tips and secrets, and I've gelled them all into what I call neo-positivity. And so now I'm doing these 60-second reels on just covering different topics. So if you want to skip all the BS and all this person did that and I just go there. Like, I'm really not trying to self-promote. I mean, yeah, I am, but in a nutshell, this is the best source that I've seen. I've been to the Tony Robbins and I've been to the Bob Proctor and I've done it. But when you listen to a speech that's 30 minutes long and all you get out of it is thoughts become things, thoughts become things, thoughts become things, what did you really get? I'm more focused on how your brain is going throughout the day and how you can change it. And when you change it and it goes back to its old way, how you can change it again and get that to stick. How you get your brain to autopilot and wake you up from negative scenarios in the middle of the day so that you don't spend time watering a bad seed. So it's like those are the things that you're not going to get out of them. So I made sure that I put it in mine so that you get everything you need, no matter what no matter where you're at in this journey, whether you've been doing it for years or you're just getting started today. It's going to apply to you no matter where you're at in any situation that you're in. Tall, short, old, young, white, black, regardless of the religion, it just works. Right. You got to have all the components and you got to do the work.
So what are some of those components that, and I know people can go to your Instagram, and I just pulled it up myself and made sure I was following you so I can check it out myself. What are just a couple of those components that you talk about on your Instagram reels?
You know what? Feeling the oneness between you and God, or you and the universe, or whatever you believe created you and is creating things as you go. Feeling the oneness between me and you is an absolute necessity to be successful in the law of attraction. Because for me to hate you is for me to hate myself. And it manifests more reasons for me to hate me. And it's hard for people say love thy neighbor and all that other stuff. But if your neighbor's a butthole, it's really hard to love them. If the government is treating you like dirt, then it's really hard for you to love them. And so this is one of the things that you would have to wrap your head around, is that whole oneness. The fact that you are in control of your future, the fact that your thoughts are shaping and molding your future. That's something that I can tell you that and you could say, that makes sense. I apply and think about all the stuff in my life that's happened to me that makes sense. But embedding it into your mind so that you move that way and you act and react in that sense, that's a totally different story. So now you got to program that into your mind too. So it's a bunch of reprogramming about how you see other people, how you see the world, situations, for example. I always say that no matter what you ask for in life, you'll be shown, if not proven, that you cannot have it. In other words, doors will slam. And how you respond to that mentally and emotionally determines if you get it and when you get it. So let's just say you get cut off on the highway. The natural reaction is to turn Incredible Hulk and start cussing people out. And what if that person cutting you off kept you from getting to that red light because you would have gotten to a fatal accident? And you don't know that.
That's right.
So a total mentality shift of seeing things differently is also necessary. So there's a lot of steps involved. But if you keep in mind that the brain is a muscle and it has muscle memory, and through repetition, you can change the way that muscle responds and reacts to things, then you do that work, your brain will start to clean it up for you. So though it is very intense and there's a lot that needs to be done, and this is not an overnight thing by any means, it can be achieved by anyone, and you're going to need to put in the hard work. You know, that has to be the number one thing. It's going to take a lot of hard work, affirmations, checking yourself, mental check-ins throughout the day. How have my thoughts been serving me? Man, I've been pretty negative all day. I need to fix my over-under. 60 to 70,000 thoughts on average per day per person. I need at least half of them to be positive today.
Right.
That's waking up to each and every one and trying to make 30,000 and one of them positive. Like I say, you have 60,000 thoughts and you want to make 30,000 and one of them positive. That would be so annoying to try to do that. So putting in the work to having your average thoughts, the ones when you're driving in traffic, using the bathroom, walking down the hallway, having those thoughts working for you, that has to be one of the biggest aspects of the law of attraction, because most of your thoughts on autopilot. Get them under control and you're way ahead of the game.
I love that. I love that. Because there's so much that comes up that we're not aware of. Yes. And there's so many thoughts, like 60,000 thoughts a day. That's astounding. And most of them we're not even aware of that we're having. So that's such great tips, is like when you're doing the mundane things, pay attention to those thoughts. It's a great place to start anyway.
And stay present.
Stay present.
I forgot. Being present is the number one key element in all of the mental exercises I do. Most of the ones I do, I created myself, but there's a bunch of ones that I haven't. But in all of them, whether they're mine or not, being present is the key element. If you want to just start with the law of attraction, just wake up. I rub my fingers together and I'm in this room. I'm right here. I'm doing this, and this is what it looks like right now. I've disassociated from everything in my mind, what's going on over there, bills, past relationships. I'm just present. Right there, you can do that right now and no one even knows you're doing it. You've just contributed to your future such a positive rush of energy. Because for one, the more you get present, the more your body will bring you to that presence. And once you're present, you can do anything. You can get into your mind, play make-believe, go here, go there. Imagine that meeting went amazing before you even had it, right, which I suggest you do. So I can't stress that enough. I'm glad you said that. Being present is the number one in everything. You could just be present whenever you want. If they say, if you ever want to make God laugh, tell him your plan, because his plan is so much bigger than yours. Well, how do you let God's plan unfold? Well, when you're thinking about the future or the past, good or bad, you're proactively manifesting a future like what you're thinking about. But when you're present, that's when you're letting God's plan unfold. That plan that's so good for you that you know that it's just amazing. So be present. Every second that you're present, you're letting God do his thing, universe do his thing, and that's what you want right there. So yes, that is a key element. Thank you for reminding me about that.
No, of course. And what I just thought of is that if you've got this plan and you feel like you have to stick to it, you're trying to control it. Mm-hmm. And we can't control
anything.
outcomes. Right, anything.
You can't control anything. Even if you want to raise your arm up, it takes like a microsecond for that electromagnetic pulse to go down and raise it up. You don't have control over anything around you. I can't control that door or that TV right now. I have to first pick up the remote, which, the only thing we have control over is our thoughts. and they
Right.
just so happen to be creating our future. So be mindful of that, because your brain's going to take you to a bunch of places. I like to see my thoughts, the random ones that are coming at me, like reporters. Like you're in a press conference and a bunch of reporters have ideas. Hey, entertain this idea. Hey, entertain this horrible idea. What about this one? And I'm just like, get away. I'm having my
Yeah.
own thoughts, doing my own thing right now. And that's how you have to be about it. Definitely.
I love that. That's such a great analogy, because it is sometimes you feel like you're at a press conference and there's just so many things being like shot in your direction. Yeah.
And
That's
you just got to
great.
take the mic and say, you know what, everybody calm down. I want to make the narrative for the next couple of seconds. And it only lasts a little bit, because the brain is just going to throw more thoughts at you. Just like meditating will seem incredibly hard if you're first starting off, because your brain is just throwing at you all these different scenarios. But the more you do it, the better you'll be at being in that quiet stillness.
Yeah.
And then I don't want anyone to think, if someone tells you that they remain thoughtless for a half an hour, they're lying. Unless they're a monk somewhere, even 10 minutes, you're lying. The average person get 3 or 4 seconds of peace before, oh, I got to get milk on the way home. Something pops into your brain. That's normal, everyone.
Yeah.
That is normal. It is up to you to shoo that away. Like a child's antics, I believe they call it in The Secret. Shoo that away and get back to being still, or counting, or visualizing, or whatever type of meditation you're doing. But the more you do it, the better you get at it, which means the brain is going to start to do it for you. It's going to start to calm itself. It's going to start to throw at you the narratives that it's used to. Your brain throws at you what it's used to throwing at you anyway. Mm-hmm. Change what it's used to throwing at you.
Love it. Thoughts become things. Neo, what's next for you?
Oh, man. Well, I'm doing this planetary takeover thing where I'm trying to change the world and make everybody a law of attraction enthusiast. No, I've always thought to myself, no matter who you are, you could be the most negative person in the world. You got toys that you want. There's a car. It could be a plumbing kit. It could be a toolbox. There's something in life that you want. And now with spirituality being on the rise, you see it's everywhere. Everybody's doing more Zen and meditation and yoga and stuff like that. Even the naysayers will see us hippie people getting what we want and living happy lives. And they're going to try it. They're going to try our techniques to get that truck, to get that next toy. And it's going to work because it's the law of attraction if they do it right. So we will pull them in too. Now imagine a world where everyone's using this whole positivity thing to get what they want. You're talking about businesses working together that wouldn't have normally worked together. Us collectively manifesting slimy rules, regulations, politicians, insurance, healing, learning how to heal more. This is a different world you're talking about.
Yes,
and the thing about that is this. We have been doing, as humans, we've been doing a great job of killing the planet. With oil and all the stuff that we've been doing, pollution and all that other stuff. Ozone layer was depleted before I was out of high school. We're doing a great job of destroying it. And the planet will evict us before it allows us to destroy it. It's been around here for billions of years before us, and it'll be here for billions of years after us. So there has to be a shift, or we will get booted off the earth. And the only shift that I've seen that will work is this positivity wave. It makes us care more about each other and our surroundings, our planet. That's the only way we're going to make it out of it. And so you got this is our only way out. And then you got this, like, we went from snail mail to the internet. The universe gives us connectivity. And then it gives us social media. So now we're connecting and we're sharing emotions. You get to stay in touch with people from high school that you wouldn't have normally stayed in touch with. And so now we're connecting on a deeper level. The only thing that's missing is a message. And now this message is blowing up out of nowhere. So we seem to be going in steps of progression to survive on this planet. And the next move is the law of attraction. And it just so happens ever since I started at this, the waves have been at my back, pushing me in this direction. You know, I wanted to retire just so I can sit at home and study the brain. Got it. I want custody of my kids so I can be happier while I'm sitting at home, which helps me produce. Got it. And then get the pilot's license and everything else. You know, everything in my life is leading me to believe that this is my path. This is my journey. This is what I was meant to do. The information that comes to me and the way it comes at me in the middle of the night, sometimes, most of the time, it's a beautiful thing. And it's led me to this point. So for me, being the voice of the thoughts become things movement and changing the planet in that way, that's what's next for me. Immediately, what's next? I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm gonna do some speeches. I love flying, so I fly all the time. I swim as often as I can. But speeches. Just talking about the law of attraction every chance I can get, connecting people, and raising awareness to this lifestyle, this way of being. That's it for me. That's been my main goal for the past 14 years, and that's it. I'm just gonna keep going where I can go. Any ears that'll listen, I'll go and speak with. Every speech I've given for the last 14 years, with the exception of the last few months, has been free, volunteer. I fly myself places to give these speeches because the universe is providing me. It's giving me the money for the housing, the cars, and the trails, and the planes, and all this other stuff. So the universe is providing. But then, yeah, I'm going to use that to spread the word. I'm not going to put my program behind a $69.99 price tag, and you can only get it if you can afford this. No, I throw summits. I throw law of attraction summits now. Instead of interviewing one person at a time, now I interview 6 at a time. So, and you got to come speak at the summit. But, yeah, I throw summits now, and the summits are free because I know some people can't afford a $500 self-help summit.
Right.
And so I make this, you got no excuse. It's free.
That's right. It's free.
And one thing I love about my summits is, as a speaker, you get like your half an hour section, right? But here's the thing. First 5 minutes, you answer 2 questions. How do you use the law of attraction in your day-to-day? Like I do affirmations, and what has it done for you? It's first 5 minutes. The next 25 minutes, you're taking questions from the audience.
Wow.
And I do that specifically because that's how we're going to get the best out of you. I don't want no pre-scripted, none of that. I want you to give me your best. I want you to give me your all. I want you to be present and deliver. And they do. They do every time. The last one was August 22nd or something like that. I encourage you guys to go check it out. It was amazing, great information. But it's 4 hours, and you leave there with a notepad full of notes. This board is usually all written. I got stuff written in there, and you leave there feeling great. And you've got all these new tools on your bat belt, in your law of attraction bat belt that you're going to use. You're saying, I deserve, and you're calling your money honey. You're seeing money as a spouse that loves you and wants to take care of you. And you're doing all these different mentality shifts and really changing your life and getting what you want. So it's a really great way to spend a Saturday afternoon, and it has an echoing effect. It goes down to your children, your spouse, your coworkers, see how happy you are. They want to see what you're about, how you're getting these things that you're getting, and the word spreads.
I love it.
Spreading the word. So yes, Neo Positivity Thoughts Become Things Summit also has a Facebook group by the same title. I look forward to seeing you guys there big time, and you got to come speak and bless us with all your knowledge.
Absolutely. And Neo, this has been such an honor and a privilege for me. Thank you. And thank you for your work. And I'm right there supporting you, behind you 1,000%.
And you know what? I want to say thank you to you for being what I call a soldier in the war on negativity. Mm-hmm. You could be doing anything with your time right now. You could be at the park. You could be spending time with your kids. You could be doing anything, but you're here trying to change the world.
That's right.
And so I appreciate you for what you do, and the world needs more people like us spreading the word and doing what we do. So thank you for having me on. Thank you everyone for listening. And just remember, you get out what you put in. So please put in more. Get you some counters to hold yourself accountable. These are $2. It's a little type in digital counter on eBay and get you one. And this will keep you accountable for how often you're doing these exercises, because this is what's going to change your life. You go to the gym to do exercise to change your body for 2 hours a day. You need to do 2 hours a day up here.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful.